We've counted more than 50 murders of rap artists across the United States over the last 2 decades. Many of these cases remain unsolved. Is the silence of key witnesses to blame, or is this a situation where the investigators just don't care? We put that question to the man known as the hip-hop cop.
It was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine.
March 9th marks the 19th year since the murder in Los Angeles of one of the biggest stars ever in hip-hop, Christopher Wallace, known as Notorious B.I.G. He was just 24 years old. In September, it will be 20 years since Tupac was gunned down in Las Vegas at the age of 26. His impact is still so great, some fans want to believe he's alive.
People keep saying that Tupac is still alive, but you know, who knows?
I love Tupac, and nobody knows where he is.
And then some of the rappers.
B-Dogs.
Right.
There are just 2 of the dozens of cases in this binder of murdered rappers compiled by former NYPD detective Darrin Porcher, known as the hip-hop cop. He's also author of the book Notorious C.O.P.
The reason why they're unsolved is because there's very little evidence that will lead the police to investigate further to arrest someone. There's lack of cooperation, lack of witnesses, and those are really the 3 main factors.
The list no one wants to be on grew longer last May with the murder of Chinx. His close friend, rapper Stack Bundles, was killed in 2007. The Jam Master Jay case remains unsolved, as does the murder of Big L. It's the same around the country. In New Orleans, Pimp Daddy and Soulja Slim. Blood Money and Capo in Chicago. Bugs and Proof in Detroit. Many were trying to succeed in the music industry, but had trouble leaving the streets behind.
A lot of them were affiliated with gang members in different cities. Some of them had personal disputes and beefs with other rival people, other gang people, or other people in their neighborhoods. Some of the shootings were out of jealousy.
This is part 1 of our 2-part special on hip-hop's unsolved murders. Now let's find out what our panel has to say. Joining us in studio, Chuck Creekmur. He's the founder and CEO of allhiphop.com. It is one of the top 10 hip-hop sites and information websites in the world. I would say close to the top, Chuck. You got to really be there because
I think so.
I think so because also too, you guys just don't print rumors. It's real news and it's real information and it's all backed up. So I want to thank you for being with us.
Thank
we
you.
really appreciate it, and thank you for always supporting street soldiers. Also with us is my brother, part of the hip-hop Hot 97 family.
Yes.
The one and only DJ Enuff, Hot 97 DJ.
Hey, girl.
Let me finish your intro now. Come on, I'm going to give you like... He's the president and CEO of the Heavy Hitters.
Yes.
And if you don't know what that is, educate yourself, okay? Because
yes.
we got other issues we got to get into here on the show. He is one of the most influential hip-hop DJs ever. Period. That's it.
Thank you.
You already know. And with DJ Enuff, he also, which a lot of people, you know, don't know, is you went on tour. You were Biggie's DJ.
Yeah, that's right.
And so we're going to talk about that as well, too. 100%. So we thank you so much for making time to be with us. We really appreciate it. Also with us is Darrin Porcher. He's a former NYPD Lieutenant, criminal justice professor, and Dr. Porcher also previously did private security for many hip-hop artists like DMX, Nas, and many others during this whole era when a lot of things were bubbling up. Mariah Carey.
Right. Steve Stout.
Many people involved in the whole industry. So, Darrin, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks
we appreciate it. Chuck, I want to start with you on this. The whole picture. You look at the sheer number. That's pretty staggering.
Absolutely. I mean, it's pretty ridiculous, to be real with you. And I think that to some extent, obviously, we have some issues with people and their ability to communicate with police. But I also think on the flip side is that there's a lack of respect for black lives, and especially rapper lives too. I think we've become desensitized completely to these people, and I think unfortunately now we're numb to it.
And I was pretty shocked because talking with people on the streets and getting some, you know, just a feel of the streets, cross-section of people, there was all kind of an attitude of like, that's the way it is.
Yeah.
And that kind of went across the board, racially, ethnically, even generationally. Darrin Porcher, when you hear that, what do you think about that?
Well, I have a problem with that from a law enforcement perspective. I worked in the NYPD for a number of years and also providing personal protection for a lot of these artists in the industry. I feel that it's necessary, the two entities have to come together, both police and the hip-hop community. In connection with what he mentioned about Black Lives Matter, granted, I understand that, but one side has to step forward to the other. We oftentimes have this culture of not snitching and things to that effect. It only hurts our community. If you continue going about this process, you will never get things solved. So when we look in connection with a lot of these unsolved murders in hip-hop, it's going to be a process that's going to continue over and over again until we as a community step forward and take responsibility and give this information to law enforcement. I also understand, there's a trust issue.
But I mean black people as well caring about black lives, not just white people or others. I mean, black people caring about themselves is just...
Well, but that's where it starts. We as a black community need to take hold of this situation and move forward and get that information out. I also understand that many people feel that police departments cannot be trusted based on prior encounters. However, at the end of the day, we need to get over that if we want to get these homicides solved, not just in the hip-hop community, but in our communities that we live in.
And I want to get into that, and also want to talk about the fact that most of the murdered rappers were African American, and the role that race plays in it as well. But I want to get a little bit of a sense, DJ Enuff, of the music industry, especially when we go back the Tupac and the Biggie murders. You know, Tupac had such a huge impact. There's people who weren't even alive when he was killed who still believe Tupac is alive. That's how powerful his musical legacy was. And Biggie, there are many people that are still. You're doing an anniversary party in tribute to him on Wednesday
March
with
9th,
Tiana Wallace. Big shout out to Tiana. March 9th. His music, you listen to it today, to me it sounds as if it was recorded like last week.
It's very powerful stuff. I mean, Tupac, I mean, there's so many others, but, you know, I remember in the 90s hearing some of the gangsters on the corners talk like, you don't need security, you know, we would only rob Biggie, but we would never kill Biggie. You know, you hear stories like that. But today, I don't feel like that's the same. I don't feel that respect, like you were saying, to all lives, period. Forget about just artists. It's like the respect level is different. Like, OGs used to come back into the hood after being successful and maybe would hang out and, you know, shoot the I don't want to curse, but they would shoot with their family and build but now I see people like not even want to come back to the hood anymore
because they're afraid of getting robbed.
Because they're afraid of getting robbed or killed.
And the climate of that. But take us back to the 90s.
Right.
And that era when Biggie and Tupac, when the music was that they dominated the music scene in a way that artists don't seem to be able to do today, no matter how big they are.
Because I mean, there wasn't social media like there is today. So right now there's so many different platforms of social media. You got websites, you got apps, you have all this. Back then, all they had was the radio. That's it. You wanted to hear your favorite song? You better put it on Hot 97 or you're not going to hear it. or maybe a mixtape. Maybe your favorite DJ had it on a mixtape for the most part.
Right, like 50 selling the mixtapes out of the trunk of the...
You had no other choice. It was either this or that. That's it. But the impact behind it was just powerful. I mean, because the guys were part of their community. They painted incredible stories. And I think that, to me, today is it's a lot different. You know, the stuff is very bubblegum and fast and quick, and, you know, it lasts 48 hours, if that, and it's gone. You know, I do the new at 2 at the station, and if I look at the records I play, they might last 2-3 weeks, and then I'm on to a new record.
Because there's that much out there in the attention span.
There's so much music out there being forced through the system, and there's only a handful of records or artists that actually stick.
But why did they connect so much with us? And why do they still connect to people? Chuck, what do you think about that? The attraction, the charisma that they had, it's even though they're not here, it still carries through to the next generation.
Well, I think it goes back to what Enuff just said. They were part of the community, one way or another. Even Tupac, I mean, if you weren't in his community, you felt that in his music, and it resonated. And I've said this before, if you can reach someone on an emotional level, you can have a fan for life.
We're going to take a short break. You're listening to Hot 97 Street Soldiers. Incredible panel. We're talking about hip-hop's unsolved murders and also putting some of these cases into the context of the times of the music industry and the culture that we were in at that particular point. I'm your host, Lisa Evers. Twitter, Gram, Google+, Facebook, @Lisa Evers. We'll be back right after this.
Ooh.
Coming up,
there needs to be an element of cooperation in play, and that's where many of these investigations fall short.
It's a bunch of violent that's going on in rap. So when people get killed, they think nothing of it. It's just, oh, he was like gang related and stuff like that.
What we're talking about are these unsolved murders and this whole code of no snitching that's on the streets, don't talk. What role has that played in these murders not being solved, Chuck?
Well, I think that's more for Mr. Porcher, but for me, I think, and I could be wrong, if somebody wants to solve a murder, they will solve a murder. And that's how I feel, because if Axl Rose or Miley Cyrus gets murdered, they're going to find who did it, how they did it. They're going to get to the bottom of it. If it's a little white girl with blonde hair and blue eyes, they're going to find somebody guilty. Period. End of story. And that's my take on it.
You know, you also have to take into consideration a lot of these artists come from the areas that, the urban areas in New York City, for example. They have something at stake, not just to give the information up. Or let's say, hypothetically, when an artist is killed.
But their family members are still living
their families and their entourages, they don't have the security that these artists have. So they have to take that in consideration. Who's going to protect them if they avail police to
They got to walk home from the train at 2 o'clock in the morning.
But can't you do that anonymously?
Yeah, of course you can do it anonymously, but it gets to a certain point where some of this information has to be corroborated. Police departments get anonymous tips constantly. However, you need to have a corroboration.
Are they really,
a warrant, a wiretap.
Hold up one second. Are those really, because what I've been able to find out, those really are anonymous. When you call that 1-800-577-TIPS, you get a number.
That is really anonymous.
It's really anonymous.
Right, but when we talk about
like,
getting
they're not going to come knocking on your door. They're not going to come knocking on your door like if you call in and say, hey, you know what, this is the license plate number or this is what the guy looked like.
Right, but you also have to take into consideration when you want to get a wiretap or a warrant, there needs to be an element of corroboration in play, and that's where many of these investigations fall short. However, it doesn't exclude what you mentioned. Absolutely. Do these people have a right to have a credible investigation done? Absolutely. When I looked at someone like Axl Rose or, let's say, God forbid, Mick Jagger was to pass away, you're going to have all the stops pulled out to investigate something like that.
If Justin Bieber had his chain robbed, that would be a federal investigation.
And the demand, remember, the demand from the community, meaning the public, is going to be so ridiculously incredible, and the pressure will be on.
But see, Chuck, then is the hip hop community a little bit to blame, or should we put it a different way? Has to take a little bit of responsibility for this, because there is an attitude very prevailing, which I really felt on the streets and from the social media feedback on this, is that this is just the way it is. We get killed, nothing happens, nobody cares.
I think there's an element. There's definitely an element to that, and I think also, unfortunately, I think some people feel like they got what they deserve, right? So, not to name any names, but they'll say, look, you know you're on the path to great success, great wealth. Why are you still in the streets? Why are you still...
And what do you say to somebody that doesn't understand that? Why are they still in the streets? Or why are they still with people?
I try to humanize people all the time, particularly Bobby Shmurda. I always tell people, like, yo, this is a kid. He's 18 or 19, and they say, oh, he's 19. He's a man. I'm like, no, he's 19. He's still a kid in some ways, right? You know what I mean? In other ways, obviously, he's not a kid, but he's still a young man who doesn't fully grasp the gravity of what's to come.
People just don't care. You know, it's going to happen, and, like, they don't really pay much mind to it, and they'll just look past it like it's something that's going to happen eventually or something, so...
We talk about the power of social media, and we all know the power of social media. We all use it, but we see public opinion on a lot of issues being swayed that way. I mean, look at the Black Lives Matter campaign, for example. You know, drawing attention to certain issues that have we've been dealing with for a long, long time and talking about for a long, long time. But then finally, they get on the national, you know, importance agenda. Why isn't there that same outcry over these unsolved murders of these hip hop artists? If there's more hip-hop fans than ever before, people will listen to their music and not even think twice about, oh, you know what, the person that killed them is still out there. Why isn't there an outcry? Because the police will say, well, you know, honestly, and Darrin, you can give us your opinion on this, I'm sure, is like if there's public pressure, if there's a lot of public pressure, if there's public outcry, if it's on the media, in the media, on the TV stations too, in the newspapers,
then they'll have to.
They're going to put people on it.
Well, the truth is also a credibility issue. When you mention the Black Lives Matter, people will step out because it's against police,
right,
and they feel that their credibility is not at stake. But now when you have people that step forward and say, why aren't you locking up these hip-hop artists from the community?
They're killers, not the
right.
hip-hop artists. Right. We don't want the hip-hop artists locked up.
Now they'll be looked at as you're looking to get people to snitch to the police, and that's where the
But what if there was a hashtag? Find Jam Master Jay's killer. Find Chinx killer. Justice for Chinx. Right. Justice for Jam Master Jay. Justice for Biggie. I mean, why is that so? Why is that such a? Why don't we see that?
It really is easier to look at the police and we're gonna get than it is to say this person, or you know what I mean. Like
But doesn't that bother you, Chuck?
It does bother me.
You're a person who believes in justice.
Absolutely. I mean, it bothers me. I mean, when Biggie died, I cried. When JMJ died, I cried. Like, these were people, these were real people, and you knew them. I didn't know Biggie, I might add.
The people are different today, man. I mean, we talk about that whole civil rights movement. Like, people in the 50s and 60s back then, it mattered because their lives actually depended on it. Where now it's like people could just say they're down with it, and they could put their fist up in the air and say Black lives do matter, but then they go home. If I die, I want you guys to ride for me. Right. I want the community to ride for me.
We will be out there. Trust me.
Trust me. Because I play by the. Listen, I play by the green book. I was on point. I did everything I was supposed to do.
Right.
There wasn't dirt in my life, so ride with me.
Right. Absolutely.
Like, you feel what I'm saying? Nobody's riding. I didn't do dirt. I worked hard.
I know you work very, very hard. And let me ask you this, because you were on tour with Big. You were with him day and night. You were with him on the road when he really developed that.
Right.
You were really close to him.
Yeah.
Does it bother you personally that his killer
breaks my heart.
is out there?
It breaks my heart. It really does, because it's like not just the cry of his mom and his family, but like the guy stood for something, and he was incredible at his craft. People loved him.
Yeah.
So I'm like, wow, if people loved him, then why aren't these murders solved?
Yeah.
So that's the part that scares me.
Absolutely.
Unless it's been taken care of already and we just don't know about it.
Which is possible.
It hasn't been taken care of.
I mean, I don't
think that one's been taken care of.
It's
I listen to the stories, and there's now it's all conspiracy theory, so I don't know what's what.
It's taken care of when there's a trial, when we hear the facts, when we hear people who aren't afraid to show their faces.
Justice, like,
I want DNA.
We caught this guy.
Right, and also to that era, it's tough too, because we didn't have the DNA stuff we do now. We didn't have the cameras we do now. There was a lot of investigative tools that were not around in those days that are around now. So now we're looking forward to maybe seeing some kind of resolution, at least with the Chinx case, which is what we're going to be talking about in the next episode of Street Soldiers.
Yes.
Is what will it take to get justice for Chinx and his family, especially for his kids, and where are they in that investigation? That's what we're going to be getting into. But I want to thank all of you for being with us for this episode of Street Soldiers. If you want to talk to me confidentially, and people know me, and people that really have been with me, I keep my mouth shut. I will go to jail for my sources rather than reveal a source to anybody. You can give me a call on our Street Soldiers Shout Out private hotline at 212-367-1672. 212-367-1672 if you have any information about the murder of Chinx or the murder of any of these unsolved rappers and you want to talk with me. We will talk. No camera, no microphone. I don't even need to know your last name or see your driver's license if you have one. Even if it's in somebody else's name, I don't care. We'll keep it confidential. We'll keep it 100. But give us a call. Give me a call. 212-367-1672. Remember, use your mind. It's your best weapon. I hope it's your only weapon. I'm Lisa Evers. Let's push for peace.